Welcome to day 46, chapter 61, a very famous passage for us today. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim the captives will be released and the prisoners will be freed. He sent me to tell those who mourn that the time of the Lord's favour has come, and with it, the day of God's anger against their enemies. To all who mourn in Israel, he will give a crown of beauty for ashes, a joyous blessing instead of mourning, and festive praise instead of despair. In their righteousness, they will be like great oaks that the Lord has planted for his own glory. They will rebuild the ancient ruins, repairing cities destroyed long ago. They will revive them, though they have been deserted for many generations. Foreigners will be your servants. They will feed your flocks. They will plough your fields and will tend to your vineyards." Let's just pause for a moment. Let's consider the poignancy of this promise, given that they have been people who have been ploughing other nations' fields and tending other people's flocks and being other people's servants. That would be an incredibly poignant promise here. "You'll be called priests of the Lord, ministers of our God. You'll feed on the treasures of the nations and boast in their riches. Instead of shame and dishonour, you will enjoy a double share of honour. You'll possess a double portion of prosperity in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. I will faithfully reward my people for their suffering and will make an everlasting covenant with them. Their descendants will be recognised and honoured among the nations. Everyone will realise they are a people that the Lord has blessed. I'm overwhelmed with joy in the Lord my God, for he has draped me with the clothing of salvation and dressed me with clothing of salvation and draped me in a robe of righteousness. I am like a bridegroom dressed for his wedding, or a bride with her jewels. The sovereign Lord will show his justice to the nations of the world. Everyone will praise him. His righteousness will be like a garden in early spring, with plants springing up everywhere." All right. Okay, so obviously this is a passage, the first part of the passage that Jesus quoted when he first came into his ministry. He stood up in the temple, having been baptized and then led by the Spirit into the wilderness to pass that test that the enemy presented him with. He passed it, he came out, he stood up in a temple, unfurled the scroll and read the reading of that week, which was right here. And then he rolls it back up. He gets and prisoners will be freed. And he has sent me to tell those who mourn that the Lord, tell them that the time of the Lord's favour has come. He rolls up the scroll and he says, "Today I tell you that this passage has been fulfilled in your hearing." Just what boldness, what authority he brought that with. And we remember right now that this is true of us, that because of what Jesus has done, that we who are poor have good news preached to us, that we who are brokenhearted have comfort presented to us, that we who are captives of sin are now released and set free because of who Jesus is, that we are those who are mourn, but the Lord's favour has come to us because now we've received salvation. I just wonder what you might think about what it means for you, because the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, for the Lord has appointed me to. So I wonder what the Spirit of the Lord is upon you for, to. He's upon you because the Spirit of the Lord is upon you, not so that you can have this incredible moment with him and that you get the warm fuzzies and that you feel excited. That's all awesome, but it's also to go and do something. And he's anointed us all to go and preach the good news. So let's ensure that we're doing that as a start. But also, what is it that he's placed on your heart? What burden has he given you? Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon you because he has anointed you to go and speak to that thing, whatever it might be. Just for me, one of the passages, when my alarm would go off in the last couple of years, one of them was Isaiah 61:10, and I would say, the problem with this memorizing scripture is that it doesn't mean I memorize it forever. I forget it later, but I'm overwhelmed with the joy in the Lord my God, for he has dressed me with clothing of salvation and draped me in robe of righteousness. I'm like a bridegroom dressed for his wedding, or a bride with her jewels. And I'll just remind myself that this situation looks hopeless right now. Hey, but I rejoice in the God of my salvation. I draw with joy from the wells of my salvation. That what I see right now is not all there is, and there's a day coming that this will all turn around. And so I'll remind myself and I'll quote scripture until that day comes. What is it for you? What are you going to take away today? Whatever it is, enjoy.